Good morning. You are listening to Florida Commercial Real Estate Radio. I am your host, Doug Dennison, and we are broadcasting from beautiful St. Augustine, Florida, the nation's oldest city, at WFOY 1240 AM studios. I will also have a co-host, Jerry Anderson, CCIM from Sperry Van Ness Commercial Real Estate Advisors in Palm Beach County, Florida, will be calling in today. Through the power of the Internet, this program is being streamed worldwide on 1240news.com. The show will also be archived on svn.com, as Sperry Van Ness Commercial Real Estate Advisors are the sponsors of this program. Additionally, the show will be posted on youtube.com. We're going to be talking about commercial real estate, different commercial real estate markets across the state of Florida. We get a lot of topics today, and I wonder if our co-host is on. Jerry, are you with us?
Good morning, Doug. Yes, sir, I am.
Well, great, wonderful. And Jerry, for our listeners, tell us a little bit about yourself, if you will.
Well, thank you. I am definitely giddy this morning over this jobs report. My name is Jerry Anderson. I'm the master licensee here in the state of Florida for Sperry Van Ness Commercial Real Estate. And what that means is we have about 20 offices around the state that I'm responsible for, and you're going to hear from a couple of those folks today. But I've been in the commercial real estate industry quite a while, and as you look at the video, you see my bio there. Been doing this for a little while, have gray hair, as this real estate market is like a roller coaster. But boy, are we experiencing a good one right now, Doug.
Well, that's a wonderful thing. And tell us a little bit more about Sperry Van Ness, if you will.
Certainly. Sperry Van Ness is a commercial real estate firm that focuses on commercial real estate leasing, commercial real estate ownership. We work with owners, we work with landlords, we work with tenants, we work with buyers, we work with sellers. Our job is to really help the practitioner, the owner of investment real estate or otherwise user real estate if they use it for their own purpose in their business, to really maximize their revenue from their real estate, whether it's purchased as an investment or purchased for something that they use. So we've been around since 1987, started as a Southern California company and expanded east starting in the year 2000. We sit with about 180 markets, 150-some licensees around the country with close to 1,000 advisors.
Wow.
Always ranked in the top 10 of commercial real estate firms in the world, depending on who you watch and who's doing the ranking, but we're always right up there in the top 10.
Well, you are in charge of the Florida operation, and if I can, I'm going to talk about those different markets and where you have advisors, starting in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, Jupiter, Melbourne, New Smyrna Beach, Orlando, Winter Park, Lake Mary, Ocala, St. Augustine, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Destin, Panama City, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Sarasota, Fort Myers, and Naples. You've got it all spread out, and it's great. But let's go to our caller if we can. Hold on. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. It's Rob Hamman.
Hey, Rob. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Well, wonderful. We've got Jerry Anderson on the line. He was just talking about the auction point auction coming up, and he's been also talking about you and how proud of you he is in regards to your professionalism. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Rob. Jerry, you're still on the line, right?
I'm still here, and Rob is in Jupiter, Florida, but I won't steal his thunder. I'll let him give a little background. But he's one of our superstars down in the Palm Beach County, northern Palm Beach County area.
Well, I love talking to superstars. So, Rob, tell us, number one, the area, and also, how did you get into commercial real estate, if I could, Rob?
Well, first off, it doesn't take a lot to be a superstar when I'm the only person in town basically doing commercial real estate for SBN. But I got into commercial real estate about 5 years ago. I was in a different profession for 20 years, and I kind of walked into this with a fellow business partner who suggested we should do this and give it a shot, and that's what we did.
Well, very nice. And do you do all kinds of commercial real estate? Is there anything that you have been doing more of lately due to the economy or the market?
I am not a specialist in any one segment of commercial real estate. We try to be a specialist for the area.
Right.
We've done marinas, multifamily, retail, office, represented high net worth individuals on advising them what properties to buy. I'm not a specialist in any one field.
Tell us a little bit about Jupiter, if you would, for our listeners.
For those who don't know Jupiter, it's on the northern part of Palm Beach County. Palm Beach County has about 37 different municipalities. Jupiter, for the longest time, up until 1987, didn't even have I-95 running through it. It stopped at Palm Beach Gardens, and you couldn't get back onto it again until you reached Fort Pierce. So in 1987, it finally got the interchange for 95. When I moved here in 83, the biggest attraction was probably Burt Reynolds and his theater.
Yep.
He had a very successful, prominent dinner theater and an apprenticeship training program. He lived here, and he gave a lot back to the community with his training, and so that was what was here, in the early 80s. Since then, it's really been bustling with new activity from life sciences companies such as Scripps moved in, Max Planck, another life science company moved in. Of course, we've always had Sikorsky Helicopters and Pratt Whitney as major employers. With the no state income tax in Florida, with our business development board really pushing new industries, aerospace, business and financial services, and a big push towards attracting hedge funds and private equity firms. There's a new program they have out called Behind the Gates, and what that is, there's a lot of wealthy business owners and CEOs who live in the area, and the business development board is making a strong push to get them to relocate their businesses, or at least their branch offices here. So they've been very successful in doing that. And of course, Jupiter is the mecca for golf courses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a couple miles from the Gulf Stream, so it's the sailfish capital of the world. You can get to the Bahamas in half an hour by boat. So that's attracting a lot of the entertainers and sports celebrities that have moved down in the area. Tiger Woods building his Mammoth compound and moving his corporate headquarters here. Ernie Els, McElroy, Ricky Fowler. Michael Jordan just built his major compound here and just got married here last week. So there's been a lot of attraction, both from the weather, the business, and the fun.
Yeah, Rob, you mentioned something that tickled a thought for me. I saw on, I believe it was CNBC, the development board, I think she's the executive director or CEO, and she was talking about, you had mentioned hedge funds, and she was talking about a letter she wrote to hedge funds to try to attract them to Palm Beach County. Do you know anything about that?
It was a very specific letter to specific industries, i.e. hedge funds and investment banking, for people who already have lived down here, to direct them to meet with to see if we can get their businesses located down here. They have a fast-track program for permitting. Years ago, it used to take many, many months to get something built down here. Now they have incentive programs. They have fast-tracked for permits and development. So where it might have taken 6 months to get something approved, you can get it in a couple months and get them up and running. So if they already live here, everybody thought that it was just a place for the wealthy to come and vacation. But now they're realizing the business environment and the people who have relocated down here, the major businesses that are already corporately headquartered down here, that it makes sense for them to have an office down here too.
Wow. Well, Doug, I know that both Rob and I sound like Chamber of Commerce for the state or the Economic Development Board, but Florida Enterprise, which is a group, of course, that's in the business of attracting businesses from around the country to Florida, they have a tagline, and their tagline is, "We have the perfect climate for business." and they're not referring to our sunshine.
Right.
They're referring to the things that Rob just talked about in Palm Beach County that are attracting a lot of other companies. So, and Rob also, you may have not heard the show, but a few weeks ago, we did a show, Doug and I did a show, we put it together on what does it really take to be a successful commercial real estate practitioner. And one of the things we talked about was specialty. We said there's only two ways you can do it. You either specialize by product or you specialize by geography. And I would suggest to you that you are specialized. You specialize not in a particular product type, but you know the geography of Jupiter and northern Palm Beach County and even downtown West Palm Beach as well as anybody I've ever worked with or ever seen. And I'm going to let you brag a little bit here because I would like for you to talk about a couple of the transactions that are indicative of what's going on in Jupiter that in my mind used to be this sleepy little town. And I've gone there for years and enjoyed it as a sleepy little town, but you just facilitated a sale on A1A for a marina that threatens to change that sleepy little town attitude, right? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, the Jupiter Inlet, it's basically the Jupiter Inlet District, and what that is it's bordered by the Jupiter Inlet, which is one of the very few inlets in Florida, and the other border is the intercoastal. And along that there's a few marinas. There's a new development and a big push. We sold Henley's Marina, and right next door a motel called the Paja Motel, which has been in the same family for 40 years. Neither one of them are really for sale, but we were instrumental in helping these owners get the most money they could out of this from a private investor who is looking to help develop in this area. There's another new marina right on the intercoastal that was just recently tore down. There's going to be a new hotel, restaurants, private marina, and public access for the public dockage. So the whole area is being transformed into the sleepy little fishing village, as they would like to call it, into a very nice product for the whole community to enjoy. And just down the street, probably a block, is a new development called Harborside Place, which was interesting in that it's being developed partially by AB5 financing, that the town of Jupiter's, some of their government officials actually went with the developer over to China, saw the program, approved it, and they are out of the ground now building a shopping, dining, entertainment, marina, hotel in the same area of this Jupiter Inlet Village. So there is a lot going on. They've raised US 1, where there were some older bridges where certain size boats couldn't get past. The town, state, and the county spent the money to redo US 1, raise those bridges, so the infrastructure is second to none now.
Well, nice. One of the things I kind of wonder about, how far are you from Miami?
An hour and a half.
About an hour and a half. Well, you talked about just down the street, and I have heard that Miami has been doing well. Does Miami affect Jupiter if it's doing really, really good or really, really bad? I know they're just doing gangbusters right now. Has that affected your marketplace at all?
Not at all. We get some of the we get a lot of business that keeps pushing north from Miami, from Fort Lauderdale. There is not what they call the congestion that they have in Miami. Miami hasn't missed a step. They are going gangbusters from Latin America, and they're actually building condo towers down there again.
Mm-hmm.
We get some of that business for people who don't want the city congestion. I mean, Jupiter is not. The one thing Palm Beach County did very, very, very well is the county bought a lot of real estate along the ocean, along some of the waterways, along US 1, where they're green space. They're either parks or just open green space, which will never be developed, which doesn't allow for the congestion that some other municipalities have. And that is the attraction for a lot of people who don't want the congestion, and they want to see green open spaces and the water and to be able to have access to it.
Well, Palm Beach County is one of the largest counties around. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Now, Palm Beach County, Doug, is the size of a state of Rhode Island.
Well, I lived in Rhode Island, so I can resemble that remark a little bit.
Resemble that remark. Well, Rob, you've also been involved in some activity downtown West Palm Beach, which has seen a resurgence of sorts. And I'd love for our listeners to hear some of your comments. You've been involved in quite a few transactions of vacant parcels recently, and there have been quite a few other sales. Can you share with us some insight into that downtown West Palm Beach activity?
Downtown West Palm Beach, obviously directly across the bridge from Palm Beach, is the business core of Palm Beach County, governmental offices. They also are going to be putting a stop for the proposed high-speed train station will be downtown West Palm Beach. It will be connecting Miami, West Palm, I believe Orlando, and Tampa. So there was a resurgence on that. 3 or 4 years ago, Jerry, as you know, we bid on some listings on West Palm Beach and some land, and we couldn't give land away 4 years ago or 3 years ago, and the condos sat vacant. Today, it'd be hard pushed to try to find a piece of vacant land that hasn't been acquired with development starting in the next few months. So there's been a revival of downtown West Palm Beach, both from a land development for developers looking to buy vacant land for multifamily, for office, residential, and there's investors out buying large blocks of condominiums and office space because they see the resurgence of downtown West Palm Beach. And there's also Simon Malls owned a Palm Beach mall for 20 years down here, which they recently sold to a group of hedge funds and investors out of New York who are turning it into a very high-end outlet mall right along 95, which is really starting a resurgence for people buying up everything around the mall, knowing that's going to be developed and going to be a centerpiece for downtown West Palm also.
Do you think, let me get your crystal ball right now in regards to the marketplace and commercial, where do you see it going for Jupiter in the next year or so? Is there big growth, just a little bit growth? Is it going to be status quo? What would you say? What's your crystal ball, Rob?
I think that a lot of people are looking at the area to live, to work, the quality of life. There's only so much land, so there's going to be quite a bit of redevelopment, and there's going to be new businesses looking to move down who are tired. The same old story. They're tired of the winters in the Northeast. They're tired of getting paying X amount of percentage of taxes. So the quality of life, keeping more money that they earn, and business opportunities that are availing themselves in this area, I see a strong growth in the next 5 years.
Right. Do you have any other questions for Rob before we let him go and make some more transactions happen?
Well, I would like for him to punch up a couple of his featured properties. He has a couple of assets out there right now in the market that are very interesting, some high-profile properties that he calls them featured properties. So, Rob, this would be your chance to mention a few of those for any of our listeners that might be interested in that opportunity in the growth market that you just described.
Well, we've got a couple opportunities with some triple net properties that we have, some in the Jupiter Park of Commerce, Class A office retail building with 200 feet along 95. That is a terrific buy for income. For somebody who's looking to buy an office as an investment, we have a fully leased 24,000 or 34,000 square foot fully leased warehouse space with national tenants in it that we just fully leased up. That's now available, and we also have putting together an assemblage of some properties that we'll be able to announce in the near future that some investors will have an opportunity to invest in and make quite a bit of money.
Well, it sounds like you are a guy that people need to know in Jupiter, Florida, and Palm Beach County.
I appreciate that very much, and I look forward to working with whoever I can help.
What's your contact information, Rob, so people can get a hold of you?
You can reach me on my cell phone, which I always have with me, is 561-346-2310. And my email address is robert.hamman, Hamman, at svn.com.
Very nice. Rob, I want to thank you for taking the time. It was great meeting you over the phone. And Jerry, again, had great praise for you, so you must be doing something right down in Jupiter. It looks like you're doing excellent. Thank you again for being on the show, and we'll have you on another time.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
You bet. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, Rob.
All right, Jerry, two great guests, superstars, I would say.
I think both of those gentlemen we had on today exemplify some of the things that we talked about earlier in terms of what to look for. A couple weeks ago, one of our shows, we talked about what to look for in a commercial real estate agent.
Yes.
And I think we just today talked to two, and they are high performers. But the reason they're high performers is they work hard for their clients, and their clients are very loyal. I could tell you story after story about Rob Hamman and Bartow McDonald both. I mean, they do a lot of business with their clients over and over and over again. So it's I'm very proud to know them, very proud to work with them in our organization. But the point is, they work hard for their clients, and their clients appreciate it.
Again, and for our general listeners and also real estate people that are listening, you and I have talked about this before. I mean, if you do a great job for somebody, that could turn into another 5-10 deals just on referrals. And isn't it nice when someone else toots your horn compared to you having to toot your own horn?
Well, third-party validation is always the best, and whether people want to admit it or not, word of mouth is what people go on. I mean, you know that.
Yeah.
I hired some gentlemen today to work on my home's driveway at my house. And how did I find them? Well, I talked to my neighbors, and I said, hey, your driveway looks great. Who did your driveway? That's how you find top professionals. I could have Googled somebody on the Internet or opened up the Yellow Pages, but I didn't want to do that. In fact, if you think about, what is it, Angie's List? Angie's List is a very powerful list on the Internet. You subscribe to it. It's built around getting testimonials from other people and recommendations. So that's how both Bartow McDonald and Rob Hamman do so well. They do a lot of business over and over. They do a great job. And when somebody says, hey, I need a little commercial real estate help, somebody they've done business with say, you ought to talk to Rob or you ought to talk to Bartow.
Well, again, superstars, and we're talking about Rob Hamman from the Jupiter area and also Bartow McDonald from the Ocala area. You know, you're in charge of the Florida Sperry Van Ness offices, and you've got almost 20 of them in Florida, all throughout east, west, north, and south. Is there any markets that you think are just doing excellent, or is everything booming right now in Florida?
Well, I won't say that everything's booming. Not every product type is as exciting as others.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, though, that Southwest Florida has been very refreshing. Southwest Florida really struggled
Yes.
During the downturn.
Yep.
It's been really refreshing to see some job growth come back to that area. It's been refreshing to home builders buy some land. And I tell you a quick story here in a minute or so we have left. We had a parcel that we were marketing, 345 acres, that we were marketing for an investment firm that had bought it as a defaulted note. And we were getting offers $1.5 million or so. Today, a year later, the offers are in the $2.5 million range because of that growth coming back to that southwest part of the state.
Well, you know, Rob mentioned that you couldn't give land away a couple of years ago, and now there's nothing really to sell because they've all been picked up. I mean, as far as a bargain, and everyone likes a bargain, and you know, all the venture capitalists and their hedge funds and the REITs, you know, they're looking for great places. I mean, I'm thinking that, you know, the southwest area might be that area just because, you know, it went down so far and there's still a ways to go up.
I think so. Of course, I'm bullish on the entire state. I love this state. I love the business climate that we have. I like South Florida because I live in Palm Beach County, and I just think that there's not a bad place to be invested in commercial real estate anywhere in the state of Florida.
And you're saying the recent economy trends are pushing that envelope so that commercial real estate will be what you need to do.
Commercial real estate is a place to be. You can't earn anything on your money anywhere else.
Yep.
So this is definitely the good time to be in commercial real estate, and do it with a little diversification, and don't put all your money in one property. Diversify a little bit. Be smart about it, just the way you buy stocks. But at least we don't go up and down like the yo-yo of the stock market.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh, day in, day out. It's up, it's down, it's down, it's up. Ugh, can't stand it.
I got it. And then if you go to the bank, you're getting, you know, 0.25% or whatever it is. But, Jerry, tell us how people can get a hold of you, please.
Pretty easy. Email is always the best way. Jerry, Jerry, .Anderson, and I'm an O-N, A-N-D-E-R-S-O-N, at SVN. S is in Sierra, V is in Victor, N is in November.com. Jerry.Anderson at SVN.com.
Excellent. And one more time, give us that website for these 200 commercial real estate properties that are going to go to auction.
Yes, take a look at auctionpoint.com. Auctionpoint.com. It's like a candy store for commercial real estate.
Very good. Hey, thank you so much, Jerry, for being on the show as a co-host, getting great guests. I thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Good day.
Okay, take care now. All right, that was Jerry Anderson, our co-host, and we are going to be back next week. We thank you for listening. Take care.